And now, from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, the show the pros watch, Inside the NFL, with your hosts, Len Dawson, Nick Bonaconti, and Chris Collinsworth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. All of us at HBO Sports would like to say have a very happy Thanksgiving weekend. I would like to say thank you very much to my friends Nick and Chris for coming to my city, Kansas City, to do this week's show.
Like we had a choice. Huh?
That's a great idea. You invite us up here with American Airlines on strike. I almost don't make it. Second of all, the Chicago Bears beat your Kansas City Chiefs last Sunday. And Joe Montana, which I consider the story, he's not even playing. What are we doing here in Kansas City?
I knew he'd say something like that because he wanted to stay in Miami. First of all, they did settle the American Airlines strike. He got here okay. All right, the Bears beat the Chiefs, but that was just one of the games where the favorites lost. Joe Montana, let me tell you, he is so frustrated to the point where he's sick and tired of talking about that hamstring injury, to the point where he's not talking to the television media until he starts once again. The problem is he feels he is healthy enough to play, and he wants to start now.
Yeah, but don't you think Joe's being a little bit selfish through this whole thing? I mean, after all, he was brought in here as a playoff specialist. The Chiefs are going to make the playoffs even without Joe Montana, and it's his job to drive the bus from there on into the Super Bowl. And don't forget, the last time Joe thought his hamstring was healthy enough to play, ended up re-injuring that thing. If I'm Marty Schottenheimer, he's right back up in that coaching booth again this week.
Come on, Chris. Joe Montana is a football player first. He does not want to be put in a glass case and overprotected. He's healthy. He wants to get on the field. It killed him last week to see the Bears beat Kansas City when he was up in the coach's box. Without Joe Montana, I contend the Chiefs can't even make the playoffs.
Oh, I don't buy that. They've got a one-game lead. They're 4-0 in their division. I know the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, besides Joe Montana and Marcus Allen and a few other players, this is a relatively young football team. With this new offense, they need direction and leadership on the field. Who knows this offense better than Joe Montana? Nobody, not even the coaches. The players, the most important thing is they believe Joe Montana can take them to the Super Bowl. They need his leadership. They need it now.
Oh, great. So do both of you guys want to see Joe play during the regular season and miss the playoffs? Great idea.
That's right.
That's right. We'll talk about that later when several of the players are on this show. We'll get their insight on that situation. Week 12 of the NFL season, and a pack of underdogs prevailed. The Bucks stunned the Vikings. The Packers dropped the Lions. And right here, the Bears sent Kansas City into a funk.
Last Sunday may have looked like a soft spot in the Chiefs' schedule, but instead Kansas City took one right in the breadbasket from the Bears and their biggest doughboy. Still, Ironhead Hayward will never display quite the classic running form of the Chiefs' Marcus Allen.
Here's the handoff to Marcus, running over the left guard, finds a hole, goes by the 5, breaks a tackle, he's into the end zone for a touchdown!
Allen's 2 touchdown runs put the Chiefs up 14-0. But one thing people are learning about the 1993 Bears is once you have them down, it's tough to knock them out. And last Sunday they showed the same grit and determination that has made them one of the season's most surprising teams. Tim Worley's third quarter scoring run cut the Chiefs' lead to 14-12, and pressure from a Bears pass rush that produced 5 sacks had Dave Craig and the Chiefs' passing game falling all over itself. The Bears' biggest play came with just under 5 minutes remaining.
From the 2-yard line of the Chiefs, Craig looking around, now sidearms it over the middle, got it, intercepted on the play, Jeremy Lincoln inside the 5, down he goes!
Jeremy Lincoln's interception set the Bears up to take the lead for the first time on the day.
3rd and goal to go, yard and a half away. Here's the kid Anderson to the right side, touchdown! Yeah.
The Bears' upset win was a surprising setback for the first-place Chiefs, who hope to rebound this Sunday against the Bills. The Bears, meanwhile, have emerged as an unlikely contender in the NFC Central.
There is a very important game at Arrowhead this Sunday, the Bills and the Chiefs. The Chiefs need a victory to show they're a Super Bowl contender. The Bills need a victory, hopefully, to get home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, but this has not been the same explosive Buffalo Bills offense that we've seen in the past. except for Thurman Thomas, who's had a terrific year, already 6 100-yard rushing games this season. And this week he's going to go against the Kansas City Chiefs defense that has really struggled against the run. Last week, against an average Bears rushing attack, they allowed 190 yards on the ground. Add to that the fact that Neil Smith's struggling with an ankle injury. I don't think this is a good matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, the Kansas City offense has been struggling under David Craig, very simply put, because he doesn't have the big running game to take the pressure off him. But with Joe Montana playing, he brings with him a semi-row short passing game that doesn't rely on the run to set it up. Plus, Joe Montana gets rid of the football in less than 3 seconds. This will frustrate the pass rush of Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett, a big plus for Kansas City.
There are 2 major problems with Kansas City. One is not David Craig. One is fumbles. They gave the fumble away last year 9 times, 13 times already this year, but the big bugaboo, penalties. Next to the Raiders, the Chiefs are the most penalized team in the National Football League. Very uncharacteristic of a Marty Schottenheimer coached team. These things can be corrected. Marty said that they will. If that's the case, they got a shot against the Bills. But Marty also said he's not going to name a starting quarterback until game time.
If I'm going to get in my crystal ball, I'm going to say it's Joe Montana who will be starting. And when they introduce him, this place is going to erupt, and these fans will rock and roll the Chiefs to a victory over the Bills.
Yeah, the last time that happened was Monday night, 1991. 33-6, the final score. Kansas City winning it. I think they'll win, not by that score, but they'll win this time.
But it's supposed to be a very cold weekend in Kansas City this weekend. Not a good time at all to test a $4 million hamstring. I think Joe sits and the Bills win.
I think that's interesting. He can't even pick the games. Now he's going to predict the weather here in the Midwest. I'll tell you, overshadowed by all this talk about Joe Montana, Marcus Allen is the other celebrated veteran signed by the Chiefs in the offseason. And here in Kansas City, a new start has meant a renewed Marcus.
I got my stuffing, I got rolls, I got a pie. All I need now is the turkey. This is a holiday season when everyone is thankful for something, and here in Kansas City, Marcus Allen has loads to be thankful for. A year ago, it appeared as though his Hall of Fame career was suddenly derailed. He says because of a long-standing feud with Raider owner Al Davis. Well, Davis and the Raiders are long behind, and he's here with the Chiefs. He's playing, contributing, winning. His road to Canton suddenly clear again.
I'm at peace just playing. This is what I love to do. It's fun again. You know, I love the guys around me. I love the staff. I love a lot of people there, but I just hated to go to work. And so what you find yourself doing is enduring. And only great things come out of passion. And I had no passion for work anymore. And now the passion's back.
A passion for the game and life that was made evident to his new Chief teammates during a training camp meeting.
It wasn't about really winning the Super Bowl. It was about becoming whatever you want to be. I think we have the platform to really challenge ourselves, to address our fears. This is the place. I mean, this is the most macho thing we can do out here, right? And you can really find out what you are or what you want to become.
Maybe they were the words from a player who was the embodiment of the Raider mystique. Or perhaps the words of a man who knew how fragile and vulnerable a professional athlete is. But now, age 33 and in his 12th season, Allen is the Chiefs' leading ball carrier and once again displaying all the right moves. The only difference, the uniform.
It's kind of weird after all these years to go to Evander's Corner and listen to Emmanuel Stewart instead of George Benton and Lou Dupa. I'm reminded of the phrase that Howie Long used to describe playing against Marcus Allen, like watching your wife cook in someone else's kitchen.
Even his old USC college coach is getting a first-hand look at why Marcus Allen was one of the most dominant players of the 80s.
His versatility, his ability to score, his natural body lean, his hands, I mean, all the things that we know about Marcus Allen, I think are going to be highlighted with a red helmet on now. And I think that our ability to highlight what he can do will simply reconfirm what all of us know, is that this is one of the truly great backs of all time.
A veteran leader who nurtures the young while adding to his already impressive credentials.
It would be interesting to know what he would have accomplished from a statistics standpoint had he had those 4 years or 5 years of inactivity, had he been a player when he was at the prime of his ability. Because of the numbers that he's put up and the way he's performed, I still think he has a chance to get to Canton, Ohio. I hope so anyway.
With his career back on track and recently married, Marcus Allen is enjoying life once again. So much so that he's even learned a few lessons about the Midwest.
Oh, I don't want to sound like a simpleton, but everybody's vision is, you know, it's the Wizard of Oz. It's, you know, everybody has 20 acres and a tornado. I mean, that's what my, I was ignorant.
Well, Toto, we're definitely not in L.A. anymore, but here in America's heartland, how about this? Marcus Allen, consummate California guy, has rediscovered his football life.
Ahead, Howie Long with our player diary. And in our Where Are They Now, Curley Culp, a proud chief from a glorious era.
Carrying on the defensive tradition of Curley Culp are two of the best in the game. Chiefs defensive tackle Dan Saleaumua and N. Neil Smith. They're with Nick.
Thank you, Lenny. Dan, I have to ask you a question. Derek was drafted in the first round. Neil was drafted in the first round. In '87, you were the 175th player picked. You are now designated the transitional player, meaning that you're indispensable to the Kansas City Chiefs. How did this happen for you?
You know, I thought I was going to be drafted #1 myself. I didn't understand why that happened. But I guess it just goes to show that not everything you read and hear about ain't true. I guess I wasn't tall enough. I wasn't fast enough. But if you put him on the field, let him do what he can do, then you go from there.
I want to ask you guys a question. Against the run, something puzzling has happened. I guess in the first 4 ball games, teams only average 48 yards a game against you guys.
Yeah.
That has ballooned to 120 yards per game. What happened to your run defense?
Well, I think that the first problem that we had is, you know, when we put a lot of emphasis first in the beginning of the season to really stop the run. And, you know, we've got away from that so much because is a better pass rush defense than a run defense. And I just think the focus is really not there. You know, it's not because of the defense. We're playing the same defense we were playing before when we first started. It's just that we just didn't put really put the emphasis in stopping the run each week and week in and week out.
Is it the fact that you got your defensive end, you and Derek, just running up the field trying to get the quarterback?
I think so. It have a lot of different things in there. You know, when you have 2 rush guys that come up the field, you know, you try to. A lot of teams putting the ball right underneath of us between the tackle and the end, and they're running right between me and Derek. And then a lot of teams do a lot of cutback. They're finding the weakest spot of the defense and attacking it very well.
I haven't forgotten you, Dan. I just want to ask Neil, how's your ankle? Are you going to be able to play this week?
Well, you know, it's day by day right now. You know, yesterday I levered it, put it up in the air, and it was iced it down all day, and no swelling hardly, and it feels real good. Right now I'm just going to go day by day, and once I get it all done, hopefully I can play Sunday. But right now, it's okay.
Dan, this week you have Thurman Thomas. Now, you guys are used to playing against big backs, Bernstein, Warren, Marion Butts, but Thurman Thomas isn't that type of running. I mean, he's a scooter. He finds a little slice, and he's able to go and get 10, 15 yards. How do you defend him?
The big thing is we're going to try to keep him inside. Because like you say, he is a slash runner, and once he can turn the corner on you real fast. So if Neil and Derek are going to try to contain him inside where it keeps him in between me and Joe Phillips, we're going to try to contain him with that. Try to keep him inside the front 7 instead of letting him run all crazy on the outside.
No, it's interesting. Against your divisional rivals, whether it's the Chargers or the Raiders or the Broncos, I mean, you guys do well. But you get outside of your division, it's like you guys get flat. What happens?
Well, you know, the teams that we're supposed to beat, you know, we always been having problems. You know, we had a problem with Cincinnati earlier this year, and then, you know, we let a Chicago team that come in. I know a game we should have won, come in and beat us here, and just because we let them stay in the game. I just think that, you know, teams that we should put away early, and we won't have this problem against the teams that we should win against.
Guys, thank you. Good luck on Sunday against Buffalo.
Thank you.
Back to you, Lenny.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. 2 of my favorite people, Neil Smith and Dan Weenie Saleaumua.
Neil Smith gets all the attention, but it's the inside guys, Joe Phillips and Dan Saleaumua, that really have to handle the pressure against the run because of the way that Smith and Derek Thomas like to get up the field and rush the passer.
You know, when they acquired Joe Phillips from San Diego, a 300-pounder, very good up the middle,
Right.
they moved from a 3-4 to a 4-3 defense so they could get both of those guys in the game at the same time, Dan Saleaumua and Joe Phillips. Well, Smith and Saleaumua are part of the defensive foundation that could take the Chiefs to Super Bowl 28. When my Chiefs won Super Bowl number 4, our defense was anchored by a tackle with few equals, Curley Culp.
This student doesn't wear a backpack nor ride a bike to class. And at 46 years old, fraternity parties are definitely out of the question. His name is Curley Culp, a full-time student now, but one of the best nose tackles ever then. From 1968 to 1980, this former NCAA wrestling champion and Olympic team member was one of the game's strongest men. Curley Culp used all the right moves to easily take down anyone in his way.
In wrestling, you're dealing with one-on-one, and football is one-on-one, sometimes two-on-one, in my case, three-on-one. But that hand-to-hand combat that was utilized in wrestling, particularly the balance, the coordination, those kinds of characteristics really was helpful in football.
Playing on a defensive line called the Redwood Forest and alongside the veteran Buck Buchanan, Kansas City rose to Super Bowl champions. But the Chiefs traded the 6'1", 275-pound Culp to Houston, where he became the nose tackle in their new 3-4 defense. Instantly, Curley showed why he was the best at the most punishing position in football.
I truly enjoyed the contact and trying to week in and week out achieve a goal to beating those people in front of me or whatever design that they came up with for that particular week to endure and to walk off the field healthy at the end of the game.
Since retiring from football, Curley's pursued a coaching career and owned an exterminating company in Houston. Though he had to sell the company because of his asthma, the business gave him the vehicle needed to pursue his goal.
Running a business in Houston, pest control industry, gave me an opportunity financially to go back and take some courses nightly and then try to work on my master's degree. And then once I received that master's degree, I wanted more in the education arena.
That pursuit of academic excellence brought Curley and his family to Austin and the University of Texas. Now a full-time student in the Community College Leadership Program, the premier program in the country, Curley is working towards a PhD in higher education and administration.
Well, I think life itself is a lifelong learning process, and you have to continue to try to improve what you're doing. And this is a vehicle to do that. This is very specialized in a sense, but yet still it's given me an opportunity to enhance some of the skills and acquire new skills, so I can be very productive in this arena.
While Curley hopes to someday work at a community college or major institution, the intense studying has created sacrifices from his wife and 2 sons.
It minimizes the time that you have to spend with your family, but I think they understand that the goal at the end and the importance of that, for me personally and for the family as a whole, and so they're willing to make those sacrifices that are necessary to make that happen.
They say it's never too late to do something that you enjoy. And in Curley Culp's case, that certainly applies. He's just beginning the 4th quarter of his life.
When the Chiefs traded Curley Culp to the Houston Oilers for John Matuzak, one of the worst trades in the history of this franchise, but he was a great player. I'm talking about Curley Culp. Because Curley Culp, when he came back to play the Chiefs, we had to assign 3 offensive linemen to block him. If we didn't, he would completely disrupt the game. A great player.